This is Ray's Rant for the Masses, and I'm doing what comes out tomorrow, which is the X-Men Origins Wolverine. Now,
Fail. Oh.
anyway, so the we saw the movie, and I'm gonna be honest with you. The movie, as a regular movie, kind of was just bad. I'm a big comic book fan, but let's put the comic book thing aside. Now we're gonna start off with the story. Story goes, it's about John Howlett. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but what ends up happening is that the movie starts off with him in bed. All of a sudden, he hears a gunshot, runs out, finds out his dad's just been shot by the housekeeper, which I don't think they really go into in the movie. Last I checked, goes and shanks him with his bone claws. Then finds out that's his real father, and that his son, which is John's best friend, is actually his brother. So now they're orphans, they're mutants, they go running in the woods, and it does this whole time lapse of them in world wars from then till now. What ends up happening is that they find out that they're mutants and they end up putting them in the Weapon X program with other mutants such as Deadpool, Blob, and Agent Zero, and
Havoc. No, not Havoc. What does that mean?
the other guy played
Maverick.
by
There you go.
yeah played by Will.I.am. And
Just the guy played. Oh, Will.I.am.
or William. So what ends up happening is that after that, then he goes and he decides he doesn't want to be a part of this. Because he's a good guy, gets married, chick dies, find out it's Sabretooth. He goes after Sabretooth because they're brothers. He breaks his bone claw. He decides to get back at him, becomes a Weapon X program, and boom, that's when the story starts. So I don't want to spoil it anymore from there, but that's basically the story of the movie. Now, as a standalone film, it really pissed me off when I saw this movie just because every action scene, I would say, is in the trailer. Every single one. There's not one action scene in this entire movie that is not featured in the trailer, and that's what pissed me off because it felt like it was an extended director's version of the trailer. It felt like the trailer was a movie, and they did a director's cut and called it Wolverine Origins. Then, after that, a lot of the things that were in the movie kind of did not add up to part one, which I felt that they were going to do a sequel for, which I really pray to God that they don't. But it felt like they were going to do a sequel, and then it doesn't add up to part one, which contradicts this movie, which contradicts part one, which I saw in 2001, and I was like, oh God, this is just pissing me off. Not to mention that Hugh Jackman looks older than he did in part one. How does that happen? He ages backwards. This ain't Benjamin Button, man. Come on. Like, so here's one flaw. He gets his bone claw cut off, bone claw, right? But when they put in the antimantium, just boom, all of a sudden, boom, he has both claws. Doesn't make sense, but hey, you know what? It's a Fox film. Does it have to make sense? No. So
Fox. Fuck you.
I don't know. It just pissed me off as a standalone film. Like, I love Wolverine. I've read Origins. And it just pissed me off aside from just that. I felt that even as a spectator of watching the films, which haven't stuck true to the comic books, but individually, Last Stand and this one were the worst X-Men ones. And whoever says no, it wasn't, I feel bad for you because you have zero taste in film. Because this movie, it's not horrible. It's just not good either. And
Okay, we could say it's better than Catwoman.
yeah, okay, this is better than Catwoman, but
it's not better than Elektra. So either way, you're screwed.
yeah,
Double negative, really.
yeah, basically, like it just once you've seen the trailer, you've basically seen the movie. There's no excitement in that movie except for the story. Now the story is very very messed up, but I knew the story already, so it didn't really matter. But maybe as somebody else would see it and be like, "Wow, that's really messed up," and I feel really bad for Wolverine at the end. But then there were certain things that I was like, this is just an excuse to explain stuff, like the way he lost his memory, it just didn't feel right. And then there were certain scenes that I felt could have been better, like when he actually gets the claws and he runs out, starts killing soldiers. It just was like 1 minute he stabs one guy, stabs another guy, walks out the door, and I was like, okay, so it's that easy to get out. Imagine how easy it is to get in. It was just like, I couldn't believe that. He might as well just press a button, doors open, walk right out.
They could have just like put their guns down and just was like, you know what, we're just gonna walk away for half an hour and you could just leave. And here's the keys. Just go. Just
That's basically what happened. He just shank, I'm out. So the movie as a standalone film, it did not connect to the first one. A, B, it had a lot of things that I felt were unnecessary. C, the basically it was an extended trailer.
An extended
D,
trailer.
the best action scenes are the ones in the trailer. After that, you basically seen it the whole thing. And the claws look extremely fake for no reason. In every other movie, they look fine, and in this one, they look super CG. It's not even funny. I think Hugh Jackman stood filming like this the entire time, and they just cropped it in, and that was it. They didn't even put an appliance on. He was just like, "Nope, I'm walking around like this. You CGI it. Just add more money to our budget for no reason." And now, from the comic book perspective, I'm not gonna say it. It's gonna be my brother who's been sitting here patiently to rant. So here's Brandon on his interpretation of the film from a comic book viewer's standpoint.
Okay, first I'm gonna say they took what was a really good origin story and just fucked it up in all ways. In all ways, because if you read the book, which is beginning 3 seconds of the movie, where they explain Wolverine's original origins, where he came from, and all that, it says that in the actual text, it says that Wolverine is Sabretooth's uncle, not his brother. Get why they turned them into brothers, and I don't get how they go from part one to this. Part two was awesome. Part one was good, but X-Men Origins Wolverine is what the. It was an excuse to put characters that they wanted in X-Men 3 in this movie, especially Cyclops,
Blob, Gambit, Cyclops.
Emma Frost,
Yeah, Emma Frost wasn't even in Weapon X. I don't understand how she got.
and Deadpool. He wasn't in Weapon X Project, but why the fuck was he there at that time? Because he wasn't in there in the comic books. Ah, that frustrates me. So basically, they took what was a great origin story and a great story in general and just messed it up into this movie. They took all the finer details and all the good parts and said, fuck you. Wait, no. Fuck you. And they just took every comic book creator, writer, and all that and just shoved that story right back up their asses. They just completely destroyed what was a great story. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for anyone that pays $12 to go see that movie.
Yeah, don't do it. Just say, wait until HBO or DVD when it's like $16 and you can own it and say, this is bad, why did I buy this? But I'll watch it anyway just because I have it in my house. That's just the way I see it. Like, honestly, I have lost all faith in any movie that comes out by 20th Century Fox that is a Marvel movie, and anything that does not have Marvel's stamp of approval that says Marvel Studios. Other than that, I am not watching it.
And we don't mean the little flippy thing that says Marvel. We mean the Marvel Studios one. There's a difference.
Anyway, this is our review on Wolverine X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Fuck this movie.
I give it a
0.
no, I give it a 4.
You give it a what?
I've seen worse.
No. It gets no worse. Catwoman is worse. Catwoman gets a 0. This movie gets a 1. You know what? Yeah, that movie gets a 1. Just because the action was pretty cool. Exaggerated, but kind of cool.
Alright, so I give it a 3.5. That's it. That's all I'm giving it. 3.5.
The movie could go suck an egg.
3.5 out of 10. Just to let you know. Out of 10. Just to put that
No, out of
stamp.
100.
Anyway, so
Stamp.
so that was my review. And if you guys hate this, I'm sorry. You have no taste in film, or you don't know anything about comic books. And if you dare go and say, hey, you can't compare the comic books to the movie, listen to this. You can't go and take a movie and base it on something else and say, hey, we're going to make crap out of this. I hope you enjoy it. Because if you created something and you put time and effort into this, and you put blood, sweat, and tears on it, and somebody went and shitted on your creativity, then guess what? You'll be pissed off too. So, I don't care what you say. You can review this as bad as you want. This is my personal opinion, and if you have otherwise, leave it in the comments below, but that's your problem.
I'm prepared to be ripped.
And that's basically it. So, that's our review. Hate it, leave it, buy it. I don't care what you do. But this movie, no Wolverine fan should watch. And that's just my opinion. And we are out. Raise rants for the masses. Comment, subscribe, and enjoy.
Bitches.
And comment.